PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Well, I put this up last week and I'm keeping it this week. The bigger you make it, the bigger it is. The manufacturers spend billions of dollars. It doesn't matter what brand of whatever that you sell, the manufacturers spend billions of dollars. Let's take Toyota. They spend money in commercials, whether they're funny or whether they're in informational videos or it's a Super Bowl ad. But over the years, it's billions of dollars to get people to consider the brand. Then the dealers that actually sell the brand build $1 million facilities, and they also add to the community and to the advertising budget. So when we're in a business where billions of dollars are spent to give us an opportunity, to me, that's the greatest opportunity of any job or any career out there, because what they're trying to do is trying to give me an opportunity to be able to make more income. So the bigger you make it, the bigger it is I take what's been given to me, a dealership, a brand that's advertised, and then I try to make sure that I'm the person that takes care of these people for their first purchase and every purchase thereafter. So let's talk about the world for a second, because it really seems to me that nobody has any time. Here's the stuff, I obviously that I work out to take care of myself, because I think you need to spend some time making sure that you keep your health as strong as you possibly can. There's no guarantees in life, but try to postpone some things by going to the gym or doing your cardio or whatever. So that's important to me. But I have people all the time saying, man, you're really fit and everything, but I just don't have time to work out. And I go, really? Really? Okay, so let's look and analyze the world. Now, people don't even buy their own groceries anymore. They don't go to the grocery store and select their own vegetables and look through if they eat meat, to look at the meat they want, to look at the value, the discounts, because there's discounts all over the store. What they do is they go online and they put a list out, and then they can drive in the parking lot and somebody will load it in the car for them. Even different, now there's stores out there that'll deliver it to your home, open up your door, and go in and put it in your refrigerator. So it takes time to buy produce to go at the grocery store. So didn't you just get that time back? You don't have to go buy a commodity or a good. If you want something that's on the internet, you can order it, and either Walmart or Amazon Prime will deliver it to your door. So now you don't have to go to a brick and mortar place to buy anything. You don't have to drive across town, spend your electricity in your car or your gas, depending on what you're driving. You don't have to do that anymore. Didn't you get that time back? I go to the gym and I look at people. Now listen, in virtually every gym, they'll play a mix of music in the gym, and it's usually non-offensive because they want everybody to be happy and comfortable and have an uplifted environment. But the majority of people come in with their earbuds in, with their phone, listen to their own music. But what I don't really understand is when they're on a piece of equipment and they're texting. So they spend a couple of seconds doing an exercise, and then they're 5 minutes sitting on the equipment texting. Who are you? Why are you so busy? You should not be in the gym. You got way too many people depending on you to make decisions every second of your life. You're driving down the highway at 70 miles an hour in a 55, and you're texting. Virtually every vehicle on the road today has talk to text, or your phone has talk to text. You don't need to have the phone in your hand, hey Siri, text so-and-so, and then it'll text so-and-so. And it's nice because it messes up the words so your texts are more, comical. But they have to have that phone in their hand. I've seen people drive down the road with the phone in front of them. How are you so busy? It makes so much sense to me that because I've gained time back, then I can utilize that time to promote myself. So the dealership I work in, if I'm in a retail environment, whether it's cars or boats or motorcycles or airplanes or anything, people can consider a lot of those a toy, but a car has always been called a necessity. Well, you know what? I want to rival that for a second. Like I've said multiple times, if you buy a 100,000 mile, well-maintained Corolla, it probably is going to be the best vehicle you've ever owned. It is just going to be a vehicle that's always there for you. But if you go out and buy a $100,000 or more brand new vehicle, that wasn't a necessity. There's a multiple reasons why you would spend that much money on a vehicle, but it's not because you need to get back and forth to work. It's because you want that vehicle because of a situation. So the Corolla would have worked, just so you know. So now I'm looking at everything as, I'm trying to get something and I want to be the person that's receiving the best overall service. If you ask most people that do Amazon Prime or Walmart or grocery deliveries, would you like to purchase your next car just doing your own research and just go pick it up? And if you take a group of 100 people and they all have the ability to buy, so each and every person could buy whatever they want. So they're credit worthy, they've got the money, whatever. How many of those 100 people would just like to say, I'd like to do my own research. I've driven the cars. I got friends that have the cars. I've decided I want like a brand new 4Runner. Just let me go pick it up. Now, for the salesperson, I need to interact. So let me talk about timing and scheduling. The majority of people will try to set an appointment up on a day that they're not working. Let's call it a Saturday. Saturday at 2 o'clock. Well, if you're in the retail space, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the busiest time in a brick and mortar business. So even if they come in with the intent to buy an item that they've already done their research on, it's going to take more time to process that sale and to deliver the good to them than any other time in the week. Wednesday at 10 a.m., there's not a soul in the retail outlet, nobody. So now you've got sales associates and associates out talking to each other about things that don't pertain, to making a living. They don't. So at the end of the day, they go, I worked 10 hours. And I always say, okay, you were there 10 hours. There's no denying that. You clocked in, you clocked out. You were there 10 hours. How many of those 10 hours did you work? How many of those 6 hours did you work? And so I look at an offsite opportunity. John Smith wants a brand new 4Runner. John Smith works in my local city. If there is some possible way on that sleepy Wednesday that I can get in a brand new 4Runner and drive it to somebody's place of work, virtually everybody in that place is going to come out and look at that 4Runner. It's so funny when somebody comes into a retail sales environment that now people are just looking, they're not in the market, and they're just shopping around. There's no intent to buy. They came all the way to a brick and mortar outlet, a dealership, and there's a big sale going on. They got the flaily arm guy out front. There's all kinds of music going on in the background, but they have no intention of buying anything today. And you know why that is. But what about when you're at that office and here comes everybody else? Now, everybody wants to know a little bit about the new 4Runner because it's just out. Nobody knows anything about it. It's a really great vehicle. There's a lot of upgrades that happen, and the price point remained pretty much the same. There's a big story to say just in general. So you miss the primary, and we've talked about this before. The person decides to buy something else. It happens. 2 days later, somebody that came outside called up and said, I'm really interested in that 4Runner. I didn't even know I was interested, but wow. First of all, you knew everything about it, and that was a nice, and there's different levels, right? I can do SR5, I can do a limited, I can do a TRD Pro, so I'd like to know more about this. And now you sell the secondary. You weren't going to do any business at your dealership because there wasn't anybody there. And now you've gone out and talked to 10 to 20 people. The more you do that, the bigger you make it, the bigger it is. So I'm working in a business that's willing to spend with the manufacturer billions of dollars to drive somebody to give me an opportunity. And so to me, taking that opportunity is the most important thing. It's just the most important thing. So what are you going to do to change your schedule? If you're scheduled to work in a facility for 40 to 45 hours a week, you have to be there because that's what you've contracted for. How are you going to take advantage of those hours? Once you sell somebody a commodity, a new vehicle or whatever, the second time they purchase from you should be simple because now you've become the person that they buy from and they send other people to you. So you're starting to build your base. I know everybody's worried about finishing the day. I know that. I know everybody's worried about finishing the week. I get it. And trying to have a good month. But sometime along the way, you need to sit down and put a 5-year plan together. Here's where I am right now. Here's the opportunity. And virtually everybody will tell you the negatives of an opportunity. Well, we just came out of COVID and now the interest rates are too high and the market's going slow. I had somebody tell me the other day that the market was down X percentage. Why does that affect me? I'm not trying to sell the entire market. If the market is 1 million people buying this commodity in a year, I am never going to sell all 1 million people. In order to sell one commodity, all I need is one customer. I don't need 25% more people to sell one. So my mentality, the way I think, the way I process is give me one individual and let me be 100%. Give me an opportunity for the month and give me 30 opportunities and let me be 100%. Now, am I being stupid? Are you ever going to be 100%? No. I mean, people get to make their own decision with their money. But if I make it the easiest transaction, more clarification than anybody else, turning the lights on in the room, and they realize all they have to do is come get with me for a few minutes and they get exactly what they want, and now they can do it from now on, then that gives me an opportunity to grow my percentage. I did have somebody, and I don't want to ramble too long, but I did have somebody tell me the other day that we're still closing 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 people that actually show up. Let me do boats. Okay, you do not go to a boat dealership if you don't want a boat. You don't. You don't just show up. I mean, you might go to a trade show down at the Civic Center to look at boats because it's kind of a cool place because you get to see everything in one place. But if you go to a specific boat dealership, and let's say you're looking at a Sea Ray, then you've done your research and you're very interested in that. You would buy that if somebody would make it worth your while, worth your money, and make it bigger than it is. So the most important thing when you're looking at this is, how do I make this overall an exciting experience, an easy experience? And if somebody wants to buy the vehicle online, every single retail outlet now has the ability to be able to do every bit of the paperwork, approval, and everything, and just actually come in and take delivery of the vehicle. By the time they come in on Saturday just to take delivery, you've already got it done. They're just coming in to take delivery. You could have run it by the office on Wednesday and just said, real quick, I wanted to run it by and make sure you're getting everything you want. And now all you're doing is now you're putting other people in play. So how do you control your schedule and do you maximize? PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.